Right, mate. I'm sorry, but I've got as a punter, and but I hasten to add a punter that hasn't been crunching the figures for 13 years. I'm going to go back to this seventh favourite. Now, I think most punters would be a lot happier if they've had their money on one, that it's been backed from a bigger price into a shorter price, rather than having drifted, sometimes remarkably, from a shorter price to a bigger price, which left it seventh favourite. Now, would your would your program not weight the one that's shortened into rather than the one that is drifted out to slightly differently?
Okay, no, it doesn't. Basically, what we do is we're just looking at odds, right? We don't say back one horse. We never back one horse. If unless you're playing the analyzer at a mode, which is you say I'm going to back seventh favorites between 40 and 60 to 1 for the next week until the graph goes back up. But on the day, let's say we're playing a race and it's Ascot. There's 13 runners and the 10th favorites come into seventh. All we're going to tell you is the chances of the favorite or second favorite winning, let's say this is the case. Fave and second fave have got very little chance of winning this race, right? So you're going to be looking at, well, the way I do it is I look at laying the favorite and betting the ones that can win. And now in the program, it'll say basically, you've got from 5th to 10th that can win it. Over the years, between these odds, so when the favorite's been this price, let's say the favorite's 3.2 today. When it's been 3.2, you've had a 5th, a 10th, a 8th, a 7th win, right? So what we'll do is basically bet 5th to 10th on that race. So we'll cover all of those horses and maybe lay the favorite for 4 or do a bit of inline, bit of hedging during the race. So whether it's coming from 10 to 7 or gone from 7 to 10 is irrelevant. The only thing we want to know is it a favorite that's going to win or an outsider that's going to win? And if it's a favorite and you like playing favorites, you'd leave that race, because basically it's saying don't play it. It's going to be an outsider. And if you like playing the outsiders, then basically it's saying, well, look between these prices. Fifth, let's say every year it's one between 8 to 1 to 26 to 1. So what is in between those prices today? So it might be 4th to 7th, it might be 7th to 10th that fits into those prices. So that's the way we'd play it. So yes, it's only the odds. It's not a weight of money, or if something's come in and drifted out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Right.
One of the things that professional punters nearly always say is that they have to keep one step ahead because their edges always eventually erode. Is there any logical reason to assume that something that's worked for 10 years will continue to work for the next? Have you created a monster that you're going to have to keep abreast of? Do you ditch the oldest analysis for the newest analysis? Does it keep progressing, or will you just build a massive database and hope to come up with even stronger figures?
No, we've basically keep 10 years in there. So basically we started with 2008 till now, and now we're basically ditching the first year until we get to 2012. So basically when we hit 2022, then we'll start looking, because what I found in the data was 2008 to 2012 is a lot different to the data we're getting now. And I think that's because of the introduction of bots. I think bots became far more common in 2012, and what happened to in-running prices changed massively at about that time. So at the moment, we have the data going back to 2010. Next year, we'll have it going back to 2011, the year after that, 2012. And then I'll look at it again and say, okay, is there a big difference between 2012 and 2016, for example? And decide whether we keep 2012 when we go to 2023. So yes, to answer your question, there is a difference in the data going back before 2012, but not so much since. Obviously, this year is going to be big difference with 3 months of no racing, and then the last 3 months, double the races that are normally held. So this year has been a tougher year than most for tracking data. Instead of taking 6 races for something that happened, maybe it's taking 9. So whether we ditch 2020 at one stage, or put it this way, next year I won't be looking at 2000. If 2020 has a peak, and all the other years don't, I'll be ignoring 2020. So so yeah, basically you keep an eye on the data and understand what's going on with it.
So Mike, anybody that has looked at your website, and I imagine after this several will, it's quite impressive. You've got lots of tutorial videos on there, and you also tell your punters that they need to spend at least 30 hours learning how to use the tool that you've developed. So you're looking for a special type of punter already there. And you mentioned that when you had 30 followers on Twitter, 27 is still with you. I mean, is anybody actually using it to bet professionally now?
Yes, we have, I would say, 4 or 5 full-time professional punters on there. We say 30 hours because so many people come to us. I would say something like 1 in 23 stays with us for 2 months. 1 in, say, 16 stays with us for 3 months. And then once they've been there for 4 months, they don't leave. Because basically it's people come expecting, oh, I can pick this up in 3 seconds. It's not like that. You need to know everything about it. You need to know how to use it. And 30 hours is, for anyone that knows Betfair and the exchanges, 30 hours is plenty to learn it. If you don't know Betfair and the exchanges, you could probably double that time.
Okay, so is there a risk that if you say you've got relatively few subscribers and you sort of want to keep it that way, but is there a risk that your users will find the same horses, so the edge will disappear there as the prices erode if they're all trying to get on?
Yeah, so basically I know that and understand that, and that's why we're going to keep it to 100 maximum users. We're going to, as soon as we get to 100, we track everything, obviously. We track how often our users sign in, et cetera, et cetera. So we know everything about how long everyone spends in there. Again, we love data. So we figure that when we get to 100, we can look at it again. But if every one of those 100 bet $50 every race, we're only changing the market by £5,000. And £5,000 in the in-running market in UK is nothing. So it depends, obviously, if you're backing 1,000 to 1, it's quite a lot. But if you're backing something under the 5th favorite, it's not a lot. So we're confident that we won't make a difference, or our users won't hurt each other up until we get to 100. Now, maybe next year we see, okay, we can go to 200, but right at the moment, I'm saying 100 is more than enough. And actually, it'll probably always be more than enough because it's, I like the little community. I like everyone being friends with each other. I like the fact that they all share with each other. And I think if we get too big, then that will go away. So.
Would it, well, you've probably answered that by what you've just said, because that's what I wasn't expecting you to say, but wouldn't it have been better commercially for you to have continued for sort of further automation, so lazy punters like me just get the selections and get the bet?
Yeah, push a button and it tells you what to do.
Yeah, exactly. So you just do that rather than have to spend 30 hours where you could be laying on the beach next to you.
Yeah.
You just get the selections, pay a little bit more, put the bot on, and then go back to the beach. Would that not have been an easier way of you making a few quid out of it with a bit more effort on the development side?
Right. Okay. First of all, it's 30 hours once. So you only have to put that time in once. And then every day it's an hour at the most. And most of that can be done at night with maybe a few minutes every morning. So, once you put your 30 hours in, it's like learning to ride a bike. Once you've learned all the buttons and what all the buttons do and where to look for everything, it's just a case of, okay, now I want to look at this one, and you learn where to look for things. Whether we could get to the point where you push a button and it comes up and says, okay, this is in your favor, that's in your favor, that's in your favor, this is against you. We probably could, actually, in all honesty, given adding some machine learning to it, another couple of years running it, we could probably get to that point. Whether we will, I don't know. I mean, I love developing. So let's see, in 3 years, we'll have a conversation again in 3 years.
So do you start to see new patterns that you are intrigued by and then attempted to delve into with another 1,000 algorithms to see if you can make that work? Is it like an ongoing thing, or have you now said, right, I am done, this is just inputting data now?
No, we're done. We're just inputting data now. We know we have everything that we need. That I originally, like, when 5 years ago I said we need this, right? And we developed the first part, then we developed the second part, third part, fourth part. But we always knew we needed those 4 inputs to be able to make a decision. And we've finally finished those. Unfortunately, you know, you can't start day one with all 4. So anyone watching this that came 3 years ago and looked at RaceStats app and didn't understand it, if they look again today, they wouldn't understand it again, because there's so much more it does now. But it is finished as far as it won't do any more than it does now. We just keep taking in the data and keep displaying it the way we do.
Right. So the question everybody's going to be asking is, you're living over there in paradise. Do you personally, does Mike O'Neill have a bot that he sets up, starting from the first race in Australia to the last race in the UK, and he wakes up in the morning just and sees how much he's copped? Is that part of the deal for you?
Well, actually, for the last over a year now, almost a year, I spend all my days and nights developing. So, and because I'm developing, I can't be running the program as well. And as you found over the last couple of weeks, the internet here is not the best in the world. So if you try to go to sleep and leave it to the Caribbean, the internet and the power company too. Power companies love turning off the power here as well. So no, to run a bot in Australia from here is almost, well, you're taking a huge risk. So if I'm going to play Australia, I'll stay up and play it. But as I say, for the last year, all I've been doing is developing, and with remaking Analyzer at the moment, because we found something we wanted to add to Analyzer. So we're remaking that at the moment. So by the time I get back into full-time gambling, and when I say full-time, basically what I used to do was basically just come in, make £100, and that was me done for the day. So I'd have maybe 2 or 3 bets and make £100. Whereas here in the Caribbean, well, Dominican Republic, I need to make £30 a day. So there's a huge difference to what I need to have a good life here and what I need to have a good life in the UK. So yeah, so I'll still be spending most of the time on the beach, but I do like to watch what's going on. And I may set up a bot for Analyzer, the new Analyzer, once we finish that, to do what I'm investigating at the moment. So yeah, there's lots of opportunities if you've got good internet and electricity. But here you basically have to sit up and watch.
Okay, so we'll put the link on the website. Just remind everybody what the the address is for RaceStats app.
Yes, it's racestatsApp.com. Simple. So RACESTATSAPP.com.
Okay, and as you say, a lot of things have had to align for us to finally get this interview done. I'm a little bit disappointed. There's no palm trees. Have you got any palm trees of beach you can show us?
Well, I can turn the camera around here for you. Whoops.
There you go, guys. All you got to do is master RaceStats app, and that could be your view as well. Excellent. Thank you very much, Mike O'Neill. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Simon, for having me. I really appreciate it. You take care, buddy.
You too. Thank you.